they're meant to be man's best friend, but is Britain doggist?
A wildlife expert, Chris Packham, certainly seems to think so and says that any society that bans them from shops and restaurants is discriminating against pets. But is he right?
Well, we're joined now by dog lover Anna Webb and dog owner and writer Anna May Magdalen. Welcome to both of you. You've obviously brought your friend here with you today. Who's this you've got?
This is a little English toy terrier who is my little Mr. Binks.
Oh.
And he's a rehome, and the poor little man, he's only actually got one hip.
Oh.
So, yeah, so he does quiver a little bit, but it's more muscular reaction.
Then he's
Well, this
getting
is,
on
this is what Chris Packham says. He insists his dogs are the most important organisms on the planet, and his partner and stepdaughter have accepted their place below the pets. Part of the problem is that we're so doggist in the UK, you can't generally take them into shops or restaurants. When I'm in France, no one gets het up at all. And why would they? Dogs sit under the table, no problem. Are we doggist?
Well, I think when you are a dog owner, you have to remember that not everyone likes dogs. You know, some people are allergic, some people are fearful after having had a genuinely nasty experience, perhaps, with a dog. But where I think Chris is coming from, and something that I personally get a bit grumbled about, is when people have preconceived ideas. You know, it's a bit like saying, you know, all women are bad drivers, you know, so all dogs smell and all dogs can't go into restaurants. I'm, you know, a testament to the fact that I take my dogs pretty much wherever I go.
Well, we've adopted that today, because normally, of course, we've got Clover. Today we just said, right, OK, we're very inclusive. Bring your dogs in. So that's what you can hear in the background. Look, they're all playing. We've brought them all in. But...
Yes, there's my puppy there, my wayward one there. That's Miss Prudence.
OK, the thing is, all very cute. And I do love dogs. I do love dogs. But I don't know whether I actually very recently was in a cafe and there was a dog, a lady with a dog that had the dog on her lap, and she got out a bottle of water, poured it into a little container on the table, and the dog drank from the table. They're right next to me while I was... Like, our elbows are almost touching.
Right.
And I was all right with it. I was a bit freaked out by it, I'm going to be honest. I was a bit like, if that splashes into my food, I'm going to throw up. My mum really didn't like it, but we didn't say anything, but we just sat there and thought, I'm not sure this is right in a restaurant.
No.
Would you agree?
Well, I think it's barking mad what Chris Packham is saying, and I think you calling your dogs Mr. I get the feeling that you might be somebody who thinks you're the dog's mummy, and that's where I would cross the line. Now, I have a dog at home this morning. He's got the radio on and he's in his bed. I left him with a treat, and I'll be back later, and he is best left there, because there are people with children whose children aren't happy with dogs. Let's be honest, dogs smell sometimes, even when you wash them. I think dogs, when they pass wind, are worse than when humans part wind, and that happens.
Which is not good if you're eating your lunch.
No, and they also tend to clamp on... Some dogs clamp onto your leg and decide that they fancy it rotten, and that is a problem as well if you're out eating. And I just think dogs are... You're in charge of them, you keep them at home, and you take them out with discretion when you know that you're welcome somewhere.
Absolutely, and I think some dogs are best suited to that. However, if a dog is really well trained and desensitised to going to lots of places, for example, I came in this morning on the Chiltern line with 2 dogs. It's a very dog-friendly train service. I think a lot of people don't know that you are allowed to travel on a train with dogs. I think a lot of people don't know you can go into your bank with your dog. It's not an illegal thing. The only place where it's illegal to have a dog is in the kitchen of a restaurant. Other than that, it's down to the personal discretion of the
Well, you
owner
test
of
the
pub.
boundaries, don't you? Because you'll take your dog, if it doesn't say no dogs,
That's
then
right.
you'll test and you'll
Absolutely.
walk in.
I always look on the door of a shop, and we went into a health food shop yesterday in my local town. I know they're dog-friendly anyway, but I just, because I was coming on today, looked to see what signs were on the door. Obviously nothing, no smoking, fair enough. So, you know, you steam on through. And providing your dog doesn't hump someone's leg or doesn't, you know, smell...
but they're very unpredictable, aren't they? So you don't know what they're going to do.
Well, maybe
and
your dog
bite
is.
sometimes.
Well...
My dog's really well trained, but I still wouldn't impose him or take a risk around small children than anybody.
The point that Chris makes also is that dogs are not meant to be left at home. They shouldn't be home.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe he should get a papoose with 4 legs in it that he could put carry it everywhere.
We're humanising dogs too much.
Completely.
I mean, they are animals, aren't
Yes.
they?
Well, to a degree, but you've got to remember they're called man's best friend.
Yeah.
They've been living side by side with us for over 30,000 years. You can actually argue that without the dog, we wouldn't be living in our modern capitalist society, because way back then, farmers wouldn't have been able to have brought their livestock to market without a 4-legged friend. So, you know, they've guarded our houses. They've created modern civilization to a degree.
That's fine, but you still don't want them in the supermarket. You don't want them in, if you're shopping. I certainly don't want them in a restaurant. if I don't know they're going to be there in advance. In a hotel, you go into dog-friendly hotels, and sometimes you know they've been there because there is a smell. There's a doggy smell, and some houses have doggy
Well,
smells as well.
it's a fascinating debate. You've got involved. I can't tell the chaos that's going on the other side.
I think Prudence is causing the chaos.
They are having the best time ever. Suzanne says, I've taken my chocolate Labrador to dog-friendly pubs. He lies under the table. No one even knows he's there. I love a country pub
And
with
I
dogs.
agree.
Yes, that's
nothing
different.
better. That is
Depends on the
different.
owner as to how well-behaved the dog is.
Exactly. May I also just add, you know, the thing is, dogs, just having Mr. Binks here on the sofa, our blood pressure has actually
And
dropped.
That's another
yeah,
point that
it's
Chris
another
made.
point. You know,
All right, we have to
We
pause
leave
there.
it there.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So that's how we feel about this, but how do you? Do you think we should be more relaxed about allowing dogs into shops and restaurants, or are you strongly against the idea?
You can get in touch with your thoughts on 08000 30 40 44. Calls are free from BT landlines. Calls from some mobiles and other networks might charge.
You can also email us at thismorning@itv.com, and we need your emails by 11:15 today. You must be 18 or over.